Hey Scorpios, welcome to Vivid Vibration. Sorry, my name is Christina. I hope that y'all are doing well. Scorpios, we have Thanatos, the castle, the storm, the lover, the unseen, and Gnosis. Scorpio. Well, I feel like we'll just throw the castle and Thanatos and the storm all together because this is the idea of destination stagnation, and holding on to something that you know isn't going to like sustain itself, but feeling like, well, that's where I wanted to be, and so that's what I have to hold on to. And then, when you are holding on to something that like doesn't really fit, it doesn't really um, resonate. It's perfect in theory, terrible in practice. Sometimes that can be really confusing, right? Like, why isn't this working and why isn't this happening? And just kind of like feeling this general, it's supposed to work, it's supposed to fit. Why isn't it working? Why isn't it fitting? And you can be on either side of the story. So it could be that you're dealing with somebody who's trying to put that on you and you're just like, no, like, I don't know why you're trying to make this fit. I don't know why you're trying to make this work. Like, I don't know how you don't see that this is not meant to be. You know what I mean? Like, take it how it resonates. You can be on either side of the story. But, the unseen, I mean, this was in the Cancer read too. And I just kind of get the feeling that there's just like, it's something that we'd like, it's a surprise for all of us. You know what I mean? Whether that's a surprise interaction or, something that you already knew was happening that like it takes a turn in a direction that you didn't anticipate coming until it does. It's almost like this idea of like hindsight's 2020, right? Like we can have such a better understanding of things that are going on once we've gone through it and come out of the other side than we can when we're in the middle of it, because usually when you're in the middle of it you are emotionally attached to it, but when you've stepped away from it and you're no longer emotionally attached to it, then it doesn't create quite the reaction. Maybe that's what you're surprised about, that you don't have this, that you're not experiencing this reaction. I don't know. I feel like there's just some element of the unknown that's like out of my reach right now. But the lover, I mean, the idea here is a relationship. If not a relationship, then something that you're really passionate about. But I feel like there's an understanding of why something else wasn't working that somehow allows you to see something else. I don't know, quite the intrigue. The Devil, the Three of Cups. Four of Wands. I mean, there's an idea of liberation here. The completion of a cycle. Something's ending that left you feeling manipulated, left you feeling like you're better off on your own. I don't know. For some of my Scorpios, I mean, you could be moving. This could be the end of like something going on at work, or something going on with your family where you just feel like there's so much chaos, that you just, like, maybe you wanted to live near your family because you thought it would be better to be around family, and then you get there and it's just like a shit show, and you're like, you know what, I'm better off going in another direction because this isn't working. I'm better off on my own, like there's so much more for me out there than this. Or it's a relationship that you're ending and you're like, you know what, this was a shit show, this was chaotic. You are, like obsessive, you're, like you're controlling, you're, what I'm like trying to maneuver things around me and not like hoping that I won't notice. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like this energy of feeling like I just got to get away from these people. so that I can move on to something that I don't even know what it is yet. But get me away from that. You know? Okay. Ace of Wands, the Hierophant, the Three of Wands, the Four of Pentacles, the Three of Pentacles. Yeah, I mean, I really do feel, I mean, this is just like the idea of like understanding that you're ever the student, ever the teacher, right? Like, I learned what I needed to learn there. I'm ready to move on to the next lesson. It's just kind of the energy there. Um, and then you've got the Three of Pentacles, the Four of Pentacles, and the Three of Wands. I mean, this is the idea of like, I know that I've worked for security and to be the type of person to what sustain family, to sustain relationships, to sustain, like businesses, to sustain whatever. Because the Four of Pentacles is home. And the Three of Wands is very much, closely aligned to that of just like creating a home with someone. But like knowing that you have what it takes to do that. Right? Like, I know that I have what it takes. So I'm just going to go ahead and go in this direction that's going to allow me to utilize my gifts, because I mean, like, everybody has their own gifts and everybody has their own positive qualities and attributes, but those don't always go well together, right? Like, you can put cinnamon in a lot of things and it tastes amazing, but if you put it in, I can't think of anything that cinnamon doesn't taste good in right now. But you know what I mean? It's like you can have you don't want garlic in your cereal. You know what I mean? But garlic's good. But it doesn't go everywhere. And just because we have gifts, it doesn't mean that they're beneficial everywhere, or like they might be kind of helpful here, but they're not necessarily useful over here. And so there is an element of finding where it is that you fit, right? Because it's not that you don't fit, it's that you're not fitting, you're trying to force your fit into something that doesn't naturally fit with you. And that doesn't work. Or again, you're on the other side of the story and somebody's trying to force something onto you and you're like, that does not work. You know what I mean? Like, not going to work for me, got to go in a different direction. And going in a direction that you might not totally know which way you're going, but when you get there, I think that you find that it's such a better fit for you and you didn't even see it coming. The Hanged Man, the Sun, the High Priest, the Empress, and the Two of Wands. So again, it's this idea of like when you stop holding on to something, or you allow the release of somebody holding on to something for you, you really are able to step into your joy, your abundance, your happiness. But you had to make a decision to turn your back on one thing and embrace another. Doesn't seem like it's really that hard of a decision. Maybe it's more of an internal processing, The prayer in the mirror. Yeah, because if you and here's another thing with manifestation. I'm still working with the idea of manifestation because I feel like there's a lot to it and we oversimplify it, right? I know somebody who, and they'll just go around saying, I manifested this, I manifested that. And you're like, whew, you might want to slow down with your manifestations because you're not manifesting anything that's all that great. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of like, but that's a lack of self-awareness of what it is that they, not only what they want, but like how interconnected manifestation really is, because a lot of times, and especially just I feel like in like a community of people who are more of like a spiritualist community, like they'll gaslight other people by saying like, well, I manifested this, because it completely removes any of the other person's like, well, what if that's not what I wanted? Like, so what you're saying is that you spiritually pulled me into something that I didn't even want, and now you're going to hold me hostage there because you manifested it, right? I mean, like, I don't think that people stop and really, like, break down, like, what it means to say that you've manifested something, um, and how important it is that, like, all of the people involved feel as though that is, like, that is the manifestation. Because I could say, well, I manifested this into my life as like a temporary thing, and this person's trying to say that they manifested me as a permanent thing. And do you know what I mean? It's just kind of like that conflict of interest, and how it can gaslight people, because when you use spiritual terms, sometimes it's like it removes the power from the people, and the people should feel empowered by spirit, not disempowered. And so I feel like there's an idea here of disempowering reality with this spiritual overlay of, like, well, this is what was supposed to happen. Maybe that's just like the struggle that you're experiencing right now, is like faith versus action, right? And I feel like you've been existing in a state of a lot of faith, but now you're wanting to move into action, because manifesting is a lot more of the grunt work than I think people realize. Um, but anyways, Scorpio, I feel like that was kind of like off to the side, but it felt important. So there you have that. I hope this resonates with y'all. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. Please give me a like, share, and subscribe if it does, and I will see y'all again soon. Bye.